Pressure ni real. The question, Utaoa Lini, sometimes is, hiyo swali waga inatoka wapi? Motivation yake ni nini? Motivation yake inakuwaga nini? Because sometimes when you look at the question in its entire context, utapata the question is, the people pushing that narrative wanatakaga uphold a certain culture, a certain way of doing things. All right? For example, in an African setting, African culture, kuna wale wanaangaliliwa, ushamfika, okay, umezaliwa, acha tuanze na the normal, umezaliwa, the first 3 years ujielewi, alafu sasa unaanza kuambiwa enda shule, unapelekwa PP1, play group squeezy, unacheza cheza hapo kidogo kidogo. After that you go to the primary school, you finish primary school, you go to high school, you finish high school. The first question is, ulipata ngapi? What did you get in high school? If you are lucky to have gotten something. You know, there are those of us who may not want to discuss what we got in high school for technical reasons. Sindio? And there are those who are proud to discuss what they got in high school. Nothing wrong with that. God bless you. Then the question now start popping up. Are you becoming responsible in what you're doing? What do you want to? And this question begins coming. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do with your life? Or what are you doing with your life? And sometimes, if this question is left unedited, people will fall into the temptation of trying to please the master or the asker of that question. Because sometimes you'll find nowadays, being a pastor for quite a while, young people will go to college to do what the parents said, not what they wanted. Got some good friends of mine who obeyed their parents. They even done medicine, done civil engineering, and immediately they finished, they left that degree at home. They went to pursue passion. Right? So in their pursuit of passion, one of my friends is running a very big, successful printing farm for this large format printing and stuff. It's called Elegance Technology. That guy is a civil engineer, but while he was in campus, he used to print these cards. You know, those two small cards, print posters here and there. Mtu anataka hii poster, he was doing that. But immediately he finished the civil engineering, got hired in a very good company, Siemens. They used to do those installations. He traveled across African nations, and immediately after that, put it behind, pursued passion. Another friend of mine pursued medicine, mpaka mwisho, after kuachana nayo, now he's doing multimedia. In this city, when you mention the first 5 people whom this city knows, when it comes to cameras, screens, all that, his name is either number 1 or number 2. His name. He left that to pursue passion. Now, when that is sorted, now this question comes. So, like a passageway, a rite of passage. Now that you can do that career, you can do passion, you can do that, you can put stuff on the table. Whom do you want to do life with? Because 3 decisions that you must make in life. Very important. These ones are critical. 1, discovery of your purpose. It's one of the most liberating things in your entire life. Discovery of your purpose. Why are you here? What were you born to do? Secondly, discovery of your connection with your maker, salvation. And then thirdly, whom you will spend the rest of your life with. Because you're either going to get a wife or a knife, depending on which one you choose to relate with. All right? So out of that alone, those three questions, the question keeps up, Utaoa Lini, Utaoa Lini, pressure, pressure. And now, Proverbs 4 and verse number 7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. In all the pressure that you get, the dividing line that separates pressure and logic is wisdom. The divider, what separates the two, is wisdom. Question: what do I want to do with someone's daughter or with someone's son? What plan do I have for myself first before I recruit someone into either a bliss or a terrible adventure? What do I want to do? Because as soon as you fix your life, you as an individual first, now wisdom will tell you, in this, it is good for a man not to be alone. Now you can answer that question soberly. So the question is, we are going to run through several questions that you must ask ndio ujiulize utaoa lini. Because hii usipojiuliza utaingia kwa shida kubwa sana. What do you expect from this individual? Ukiambiwa utaoa lini, toa jam, unaeka pressure. What do you expect from this individual? If you don't settle this question, if you don't fix it, life has a way of bringing those things into the surface. Life has a way, either through needs, either through realities of life. We had a session this morning, and one of the things that if you check, the way people started the year with energy. This is my year, my season. They are going for it. I am getting it. And they had the drive in January. February, reality kaanza kuhit. March, April, May, June, sahi uko June, na vitu ija happen. If anything, some have gone south. And you're asking yourself, is God a reality here? What was your expectation versus your reality zinagongana? This is where you need something called Daniel chapter 2, verse 19. Then the secret was revealed to Daniel through a dream. Because if you don't enter into revelation from that age, and that stage rather, you can actually shipwreck. Because you'll doubt what you... So what are your expectations? When someone is telling you utaoa lini, question is, what are my expectations? Hii ndoa nataka kupeleka wapi? It's an institution for Matthew. Nataka kuipeleka wapi? What is the purpose of this institution? Before nijiingiza hapo. So anasemaga ni pingu ya maisha. I don't believe in pingu personally, but what are your expectations? What do I expect? Can you place a demand on your life to get exactly what you want from someone else? Are you able to put a demand on your own life? We mwenyewe ujieke pressure. When it comes to do with things to do with your own purpose, can you put pressure on yourself to drive out purpose out of your life? Because once you generate purpose, now someone can look at something. That is what we call a bargaining tool. There is something on the table. So mtu akikuja hapa anaangalia, there is purpose here. Mwingine akikuja, what am I contributing? So that there, in this thing ya utaoa lini, ask yourself, am I a producer or a consumer? Bwana asifiwe sana. Am I a producer or a consumer? Because if you are a producer, then someone can partner with you in generating more. If you are a consumer, someone can come and be a partaker. Yana kujaga tu anambia, uko na ngapi hapo hivyo? Mazi kuna do wengine ilikuwa nangojea. Unaanza kusikia hiyo story. Unaanza kusikia hizo story. First of all, fix your life before someone else comes into the equation. Please. Before itishe mtu pesa yake, mimi nataka chali yako na do. Consumer. Nimesema vibaya? Volume iko aje? Mimi nataka chali yako na do. Mimi siwezi chaliana ene. Ni sawa, wewe una ngapi? Tuelewa wewe una ngapi? And the reverse also is true. The reverse also is true. As a man, many of us volunteer what you have not been solicited for. Maze, ni birthday ya mdemi wangu. So you volunteer to do what you cannot even do to your mother. What you have never done to your mother. Unatoka, unajua saizi lazima nitoe ido. Unakula mpaka rent. Wisdom is the principal thing. I told you, wisdom is the dividing line. Because the reason why people are under pressure to manifest what they have not processed is because the lack of wisdom here. And by the way, ukishajipata uko na pressure ya kutaka kukuwa na mdem ama kutaka kukuwa na chali, hiyo pressure in itself is telling you there is something wrong. In itself, it is telling you there is something amiss. One, the pressure from yourself tells you there is an emptiness in you that is seeking for kuna kitu kingine, emptiness fulani iko ndani yako inajaribu kutafuta kitu itafilio hiyo vacuum. If you don't fix that vacuum, either demons or something else will. And then that is when now you get me simsa ashakam. Before long you start doing life with someone, you do 1 year, 2, 3, 4 months. Tunaangaliana tu, tunapimana. Mutapimana, before long, consumer, producer is the standardization here. What are your expectations? Because one, for men, before you build a house, you count the cost. And this time, it's not the cost of construction. Let's not even go to the cost of construction. That could come when both of you are one. Ama? That can come when both of you are, and the two shall become. But in this sense, have you sat down to count the cost? Kuna kitu mgogo alisema, I'm quoting another authority. Eh? Is it okay if I quote the authority? Alisema, bwana we, kabla hujamtongoza msichana wa wenyewe, angalia kama wewe una maumbile ambazo zinavutia. Ama utakuwa ni kama umepanda mdizi kwenye primary school, mtakuwa mnakula na wale watoto wale. In other words, look at your looks before you start demanding for another beauty. It was savage, but, well, pick some wisdom there. Count the cost. Count the cost. Are you able to match up with this particular individual? One, mentally, psychologically. Even if you haujafika, but are you able to show and demonstrate that you can work extra hard to match up? Ndio at least, let me tell you, most of the time I also pray for the ladies and I pray for the men. And I pray for most of them, even you guys, I'll pray for you, that you guys, God will lift you in such a place that mukikutana, ukiongea cost of fuel, pia yeye anaweza changia. Ama manzi yako anajua story ya Ukraine na Russia, ama ni mrembo. You get that thing? you get that thing? Yeah. At least mnaweza ongea fuel prices. Ndio chalia kiongea hapo, wewe unataka lini hata mafuta ya pesa ya mafuta imeongezwa. Dema anakuangalia pesa ya mafuta inahusuaje nywele yangu. Let's fix this problem. Producer, consumer. As a man, naturally, it is expected and actually demanded of you to be a producer. It is expected. If you get a woman who is a producer, that is an added advantage. I'm telling you this for free. If you get a woman who is also equally a producer, that is an added advantage. Otherwise, pressure ya Utaoa Lini itaingia ujipate umechukua mtu yoyote just to not to appear to be out of form. Fear of missing out. Kuna watu hata walikuwa no msa ataoa lini, as though getting married is a ticket to heaven. Are you aware your savior was a single brother? Jesus himself, are you aware? He was a single brother. Ama kuna mtu alienda wedding yake? Kuna mtu hapa alienda rorasho mahali haini ya Jesus tuliendaka. Jesus was a single brother. So getting married and not getting married is not a ticket to heaven. Let's settle that. Someone cheki vibaya. Okay, you also get married, then the pressure, mtapata watoto lini? Unaona pressure vile inaanza kupanda? Let me show you something. There is something called frustration and a strain. A strain, this thing mutates and takes different forms in different stages. If you don't fix the frustration while you are young, single as an individual, it will spill over into while you are dating. You are projecting a certain frustration that this person is trying to wonder, nimekukosea? Hapana, niko tu sawa. Mbona uongei? Mimi niko fit, mimi niko unaongea vibaya, but you're trying to protect a certain frustration, and especially when things are not working. Especially when things are not working, people tend to protect their frustration. They call it, I need my space. It's not an issue of space. You're just being a nuisance. Because if you learn to fix every frustration and call it, because the Bible says, whatsoever name you shall call it, that shall be its name. So if you fix your frustration from this level, fix your fears, fix your personal, vitu zako tu, where you fix, so that you don't transport the same to someone else. And it's inatokeaga in form of, tunaenda date sina do. Tunaweza fanya wewe yako tu but uongei nawe si bubu. You are not articulating something because now you cannot match up. Why? Underdeveloped concept in your mind is feeding this frustration. Wewe ngoja tu watoto wakishatokea after mmeoana. Unajua watu hiyo wanaga chills. Daddy, tutakula sausage lini? Sasa hiyo unaende. Daddy, utanipeleka kuswim? Because ameenda shule, wale watoto wakina nani pia wanapeleka. The fact that you never fixed your frustration inaanza kumutate. Before long, itatokea kama personality defects. Before long, depression. Umsapendagi kuongea. Na mademu wanakuwa na a way of fixing their frustration. Either they'll cry it out, wataenda waongee huko, waende empowerment meetings, wahagiane, hizo vitu wa fix. Sisi mabrother, uko poa? Mimi niko fit ya. Mimi niko poa. Uende watch ball, ukimaliza ku watch ball urudi to the same situation and fixed and attended. Tunaelewana? Wanaume bwana asifiwe sana. Let's always have a forum, even if not a forum. Get 2 or 3 brothers. Usikue lone ranger. Kuwa na mse at least unaweza tapika mbele yake na ako tu sawa anaweza panguza. Lakini usitapikage sana. Pia wewe tapikiwa pia. I hope you're getting my point. Because be very careful. Be very careful. Romans chapter 5 inasema tribulations gives birth to perseverance. If I want to know your frustration, nangoja tribulation ikam. Your inability to persevere, then it tells me, huyu mtu hawezi vumilia shida. Huyu hawezi vumilia. And one of the marks of a solid man is endurance. Can you sustain for long? The staying power, can you stay in that heat for too long? Bila kucrack under pressure. You see, so some of us laugh sometimes because the kind of things we handle, if I give you my life hapa for 5 minutes, you'll crash. Immediately, utadunda hapa tukokote, tukuresuscitate. Because if you don't develop the capacity to handle pressure, hii kitu inaitwa expectation, huwezi manage. Na ndawaambia ukweli wanaume, mademu wana pressure. Get it from me, they wana pressure. Wana pressure. Si ukae tu na mmoja hapo tu mpige tu story. Dakika tu 5 utarudi sasa dem ana pressure. Just sit with any at random. Either pressure, it's not in a negative. The pressure I'm describing here is either the pressure to bring the best out of you, depending on how you will put it. Ukiweka in a consumer bracket, itakuaffect. Ukiweka in a producer bracket, it will spy you. Are you getting me? So, what are your expectations? I'll give you this advice for free. I'm not an expert most of the time, but on this one, hata gava ikitaka COVID statistics inachukuanga sample size. Si ndio? Ama? Si pia wewe uchukue sample size. Hang around so many people. Befriend so many people. Angalia, piga story na huyu nini. Ukisikia mdema anakuambia, mimi sipangwingwi. Ukisikia tu hiyo statement, usikuwe na pressure, hata usionyeshe madharau, wewe jua hapa. Hapa. Wewe jua tu hapa. Kuna kitu inaitwa ICD. Utaingizwa kwa Institute of Character. And it will develop. Trust me, your character, it will develop. Ukisikia mwanaume anaongea unajua saizi kuna bet ingine naekelea. Ukisikia tu. This one is now a consumer masquerading like a producer. Ama? Let me tell you something. Every time you get before great people, and let me tell you, greatness is manifested in the kind of people like this. Because si wajinga wamekuja kukaa hapa. So every time you hang around people like this, freely sell a vision. Don't sell a need. Sell a vision. Your needs will be met in the vision. But many of us want to sell and unajua kuna saizi sijalipa keja, sijafanya sina. Niliwaambia hata hizi manguo tunavaa hizi tunaita designer. In the standardization of God, they are filthy rags. Unaita Calvin Klein filthy rags in the standardization of God. Unajua hii ni Ray-Bans. Ray-Bans umevaa na wewe ni kipofu. Unajaribu kufix upofu wako alafu umevaa designer. Ni designer when it comes to appearance, but in the content, what is it? What's the value? What's the value in it? I was contemplating in the house the other day and I was having a very hard time. And I asked myself, how comes this and this is not happening? How comes this and this is not happening? And something came to my spirit. Never tell people that you are being ignored. Usiwaambie watu you are being ignored. Things are not working. The whole truth is this. I came to this conclusion. Your value has not risen sufficient enough to a certain capacity that it will make people inconvenience themselves to come for it. So, Utaoa Lini ni increase your value fast. Wanaume, spend time getting your money. You will have a problem getting rid of women. Ladies, work extra hard to increase your value. You will have a problem choosing where to place your value. hiyo sitauza. Hiyo point siuzi, ni free. Because sometimes you are, life is hard. Life is hard for everyone. And sometimes what you're calling hard, it's because you are underexposed. You are just simply underexposed. What sorted my life years ago, I used to complain, things are bad. I used to complain, by the way. Nikuanga complainer. So one day, because of my second name, there was athletics in Kasarani. So what happens is, a friend to my dad came to the house and told me, "Where, twende Kasarani?" So me, I knew tutaingia ma3 twende. Akaniambia, Z, tutakata hapa D, to cross coach, to jump over, to ingia Kasa. And that's exactly what we did. But then, that was not even, I think it was a journey of exposure. Tulipita hapo Korogosho. I saw the livelihood of people, the way people live. I'd never watched the athletics. So many things were going through my mind. Because you're jumping over raw sewer. Kuna mtu anaishi hapa, kuna mtu analala hapa, kuna katoi kanatoka kakifuatwa na mama yake. Unashindwa, mtu anakuwa raised in this environment. When I got home, switching on the light, kuangalia ati kuna light kwetu. Tulikuwa tunakaa hapa switching on the light. It fixed my expectations for life. 100%. Sometimes when you're complaining, yesterday I was telling some guys in Nakuru, what is the use of an iPhone? Saile unafuliza. Ama nimesema vibaya. Why should you have a very expensive phone but unafuliza? It means you got there without the proper standardization criteria. Ni kama ulirukishwa. Mismanaged. So, if you don't fix that, your expectations zitashinda zikigongana. You expect msali nitumie maua kwa Valentine. Usipotumiwa, jua itatokea side ingine juu ya maua. Yani, so you have reduced life to a flower. It's because there's an emptiness in you that wants to be affirmed. To be told you're beautiful. If you're not beautiful from inside, hata ukiambiwa 100 times, you won't believe it. Ama nimesema vibaya. It's a pure truth. If you don't believe that your identity is fixed from the inside, I know who I am. From inside, hata uambiwe you are handsome, you'll never believe it. You'll think someone is mocking you. Why? Because mismanaged expectations zinakuwaga according to the criteria of men. Culture. Mtoto wako anasomea wapi? Si anasoma. Kula anasomea sasa imekuwa shida tena. Si ushukuru Mungu kuna wale wasomi. Yani you don't think beyond that ufikirie kuna wale wasomi. Kuna wale alipata ngapi? Si ushukuru alifanya KCSE. Before niuliza alipata ngapi, shukuru Mungu at least alifanya KCSE. Amepata C-. Umekasirika, C- inakukasirisha. Mpaka unasema mimi naenda kujiua. So you have reduced your life to Kenya National Examination Certificate. Yet the one who created you said, I know the plans that I have for you. Whether with certificate or none, I know the plans that I have for you. To give you a hope and a future. Can't you sit for once and ask yourself, what is the plan of God concerning my life? I'm praying one day God gives you visas to go to the States. Uende tu tembe, hata usitaki kwenda kuishi. Uende tu tembe. Look at the kind of the lifestyle people live. And especially wazungu, wachana na blacks. Blacks, they have their own problems. Especially wazungu. Some of them wanamalizaga hizi what you call senior high school. Na wanaenda kufanya job wanaoana at 2021. So because you are exposed to relationships that don't work, marriages that don't work or didn't work, let me tell you, a majority of them work. Because while they are young, Their identity is fixed. Mtu akigonga 18 hivi anakatiwa anaingia box, anajua exactly kile anaenda kufanya kwa hiyo marriage. Anajua exactly ni nini. I attended a wedding that was, mkamba nikasema, hawa watoto watatoboa kweli. 21-year-old and a 22-year-old. Ama 20-year-old and a 21-year-old. And harusi ilikuwa na electricity. Wow! Nikajiuliza wase walidate lini. Kumbe I was a victim of my African conditioning. So many vijana muongeze pia bidii, mwisho wa kusoma mtapata kazi nzuri. That was the philosophy of our fathers. Now I'm a victim of my viewpoint, trying to standardize things from an African perspective, but then the other people will look at it from a different. Me, by the time I was 15, I knew who I am. By the time I was 10, I knew exactly who I am. Sa ile wetu tunakufanyia motivational talk at 26. Tunakufanyia motivational talk at 28. You need to know yourself. Do not let anybody put you down. You need to rise from within and then raise the lion within you. And as you begin to roar, somebody roar. Tunakufanyia hizo vitu. Tunaanza kukuchocha, But mwingine at 15 anajijua. Where at 28 hujielewi. A preacher went to a certain nation and he started preaching and he started telling people, I want to pray for the people who are believing God for visas to the US. Nobody stood. Literally, nobody stood, nobody came. So he thought people, alidhani hiyo word of knowledge yake imehurt you. Na ukweli ili hurt you. This guy was a Nigerian. And when he went back to seek wisdom, he was told, because of our bad behavior as Nigerians, us tunajulikana, kunyimwa visa is the order of the day. So for you to get a visa is a miracle that we Nigerians need. Lakini kwingine pale hawahitaji. Wisdom. So there are times what we are calling a miracle to someone else is a reality. Up until you fix that thing, it mutates. At every stage, utakuwa unaangalia dem ama chali yako as a competitor, not a companion, not a partner. So ukikatia dem, unasema you need to marry up. Katia upwards. By the time you have that concept in your head, it looks like you are an asylum seeker, but this time an economic asylum seeker. Let's eliminate this by fixing the producer and consumer thing. If both of you are producers, none of you will need economic asylum seeking. Ama? But if one of you is a consumer, I got married to wealth. Had nothing to do with this guy. Really got. Na kuna wapendo got an opportunity, I interact freely and having a conversation. Mimi siwezi katia mtu akai vizuri. Hata kama amesota aje lakini he has the looks. Sitaki watu wangu wakifika mahali they are rejected for their appearance. Kama mtoi wake, mtu akitaka kulalisha mtoto amewe lala ama ndaita nani? Simply kula ama ndaita nani? Because they are yet to look good, They are well to do. What do you expect? Secondly, what's your perspective about marriage? What's your perspective about marriage? What viewpoint do you have concerning marriage? Are you advancing your parental dysfunctions? Is it an extension of how you are brought up? Mimi mama yangu afanyangi hivi. I know some of you hate the way your father relates with your mother. And unajua hii mambo ya relationship na getting married is just a scam. What's your perspective about marriage? Is it a place that you seek to advance the kingdom of God? Because up until you look at it from that angle, it will be misguided. And this is where issues to do with submission becomes a problem. Mwanaume ana advance the African philosophy, a chauvinistic philosophy. You need to submit to your husband. No, you need to submit. Yeah, I'm the head of the house. Sawa, you are the head. Until you learn to deal with women from the neck going upwards, you may never remain the head. That's deep. Sitawalipisha. Until you learn to deal with women from the neck going upwards, it will be a problem. Because if we deal with them from the neck going downwards, whatever you will get is downwards. And after you get it, what else? Emptiness. Because you will still want something going up. Ama? Nimeongea mbaya? So, if you don't fix the perspective of marriage, that women are there to be seen and not to be heard, I'll tell you. In this particular equation, the principle of one works. Mtu akikujaga kuniambiaga mazi yangu anakuanga fala. Nasikianga tu nasema okay, ni fala. Sasa tuelewane. Wewe ndio fala. Because when you get married, the day we pronounce you husband and wife, we pronounce what has been existing, okay? We confirm what has been existing. Hii tu tunawapatia nini legal right to live together, all right? So if in this particular area, chali yangu anakuanga zuzu, the principle of one, nyinyi wote ni mazuzu. Because the two shall become. Once they get married and then you find the wife complaining about the husband, period. The denominator, both of them are on the same. Where si advice moja tu, mtu anakuambia ati mimi siwezi kana uchali, nini mimi naachana naye, na wewe unamwambia simuachane, me I can't stand that. No. Na sasa hiyo wameoana. 8 months down the line, the same two people, ama tuseme hata wajawana, wana date. 2-3 months down the line wanakuitia invitation card ya harusi. So nani fala? Nani fala? Si wawili wamekufanya fala. The whole what is your perspective about marriage? Is it a place of companionship? Is it a place where God can be glorified? Is it a place where you will advance the kingdom of God by bringing a godly offspring? What do you intend to achieve? So that you don't just get married because you want to get married. It's not a ticket to heaven. Neither is it a voter's card. Sometimes, let me tell you, and I am saying this with a lot of love, it's better to stay single than to be in a frustrating marriage. Better tu ukitaka kukula samosa zako vile unataka, hakuna mtu atakuuliza. Ukitaka kurusha socks zako mali wewe urushaka, hakuna mtu anakuuliza. Kana hiyo amani tu, hakuna mtu anakusumbua. Ndio usilete msichana wa wenyewe akujeni kama akwe mfanyikazi. Na huyu mwingine asigeuze huyu kijana wa wenyewe. Alikuwa tu mzuri, akiwa tu peke yake single. Jamaa alikuwa tu sawa. He loved God, he served God, he was very focused. Lakini tangu wakati ule, chali kumuona ni hard. Hata ukibonga naye anakuambia wase nimeitwa. Kuna holidays tukutane kama wanaume hapa ndakukonfirmia. Ndakukonfirmia. Sometimes it's better to stay single. I'm telling you the truth. What we have seen out here. I'm telling you the truth. It's better sometimes to stay single than to be in a frustrated need. So hiyo pressure ya utaoa lini, utaolewa lini, jiondoe nazo. Because it's the standardizations of Africans. Enda kwa wazungu, they don't care whether you're married or single. They don't care. They really don't. It doesn't even add to the equation of greatness. I'm telling you. It's only an added advantage when you want to access certain quotas or certain privileges. That is when they'll ask you, are you married? Because they want to see how much responsibility you've been able to shoulder as a husband or as a wife. But really, you can still shoulder responsibility with or without. What's your perspective of marriage? Is it to fire extinguish? Najua Paul alisema kama una bana passion, eri umari. Bado utaban tu hata ukimari. Kwani ni kesho? Hata ukimari tu bado utabana. Kama ulikuwa unatafuta fire extinguisher. Uliza wale mabrother zangu wawili pale wamemari. Utakwambia. Monday to Friday. Kuna mahali unaambia msee, we, I need a break, come on. Hizi sabuni ishi. I'm telling you the truth. At some point, brothers, Bwana asifiwe sana. Bwana asifiwe sana. Before hata ukatia, ulikuwa focused, unapanganga vitu zako tu, strategy plan, nini. Alafu all of a sudden, babe, ni aje? Pressure. And if you get married for sex, I'll tell you the truth, you're getting married for wrong reason. 100%. Sex is like spice. It's not the main meal. It's like the spice. Marriage is the main meal. Ingine tu ni icing. Nikwe serious? Nikwe serious? That's the whole truth. Okay, question. In the event, peradventure, God forbid, in sickness and through the varying changes of life, what happens when there is a situation in your life that both of you, one way or another, none can offer? You can't have sex, and you're married. And you married for passion. Utadu nini hiyo siku? Na labda ujui Ruach Elohi. What will you do? Are you seeing what I'm saying? If you don't fix the strain of passion, at some point, what we call perversion is misdirected passion. Misdirected passion is perversion. So what will you do? Ndio unamcheki. Ask those who are married. They can stay together naked. Of course, they are not ashamed. They can stay together naked. None of the facilities will rise to the occasion. Siniwaambia vile iko. Not because ati ilikuwa tu amlambezi kila saa. So you came for this nini? You want to be told. Acha niwaambie ukweli, so that you have a right perspective of what? Of marriage. Acha nisiwaambie story nyingine ya Mkorina. Ya tutaongea na kina Alex. Hiyo itachoma. There is this guy who got married. Went through, he had gone through premarital counseling, and sasa ni wale, of course, ajaona msichana wenyewe akiwa vile alizaliwa. Juu ni mkorich. Funga kitamba, akivaa zile nguo zinafika wapi? Wachana na nyinyi siku hizi you are marketing acres of flesh. Wachana na hiyo. Achana na hiyo. Address mpaka huko chini. we. Usiku after wedding, jioni aliachilia utukufu wako. Hii nywele tu ilizamisha brother. Ilizamisha brother huko. Where do you stand on matters of faith? Before the pressure of Utaoa Lini comes, where do you stand on matters faith? 100%, I've come to this conclusion. All marital problems can be solved. 100%. Hakuna yenye yezi solvika. All of them. But it can only be solved through the provision of Galatians 5:22 and 23. Through the fruit of the Spirit. And let me help all of us. Before you get married, work on this Galatians 5:22. Produce it, inaitaga the fruit. Ndio hiyo. The fruit. Work hard to manifest those things. Work extra hard. Ukishika pesa, usiposhika pesa, hii ikikua uko na ndoa. Because the verse 23 nasema, against such there is no law. You manifest this love, manifesting through joy, because joy is a strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Kama kuna food, hakuna food, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Kama kuna do, hakuna do, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Yani, you don't need external force to fix your deficiency of gloominess. Kuna kitu ndani yako ina produce kitu inaitwa joy. Those of you who have visited our house, sometimes we don't have everything in the house. Stima inaweza isha. Na mimi stima itanisumbua. Stima imeisha. Sini tokens imeisha. Kwani life imeisha? Sini tokens imeisha. Si tukue na candlelit dinner leo. Ama. But kwa mwingine, you know, when I was the youth pastor, I used to deal with so many things. Needs. But see, things are not working at home. Ni nini? Vitu ni mbaya. Things are bad. Ni nini? What's happening? Tumekatiwa DSTV, tumekatiwa maji, tumekatiwa stima. Nini. Mimi naona nikanda jua. Less than a minute after that, another case. Pasi hatujakula siku 3. Now, one is humanitarian, one is luxurious. Both are needs. Which perspective are you looking through to fix either? To someone else, it's the end of life. To someone else, I barely need this to live. Sometimes what you're calling a need is someone else's luxury. Ukisha manifest kitu inaitwa peace. And by the way, let me tell you something. Anything that robs your peace as a man and as a woman has robbed you almost a bigger percentage of your life. E2 peace. When you lack peace, this is the genesis of panic. This is the genesis of maladjusted behaviors. Kitu, lack of peace. Ndio unaona ni kama dunia inaisha. Just lack of peace. Because kitu inaitwa peace, according to Philippians 4:7, inasema, the peace of God, it surpasses all human understanding. Let's interrogate this for a minute. If all human questions, all human pressure can be fixed by this thing called the peace of God, then once you have the peace, it is a language of God. Na hiyo ndio sasa inakwambia, kwa hii usiongee. Kwa hii argument nyamaza. Kwa hii blanda usijitete. Hapo ndio wisdom inatokea. Lakini kila saa tu mimi ndamshow, ndampasha. Mimi lazima nimpatie a peace of my mind. And sometimes the peace we give is the rotten one. And you don't want to acknowledge that you have a rotten peace. Na hapo ndio ujinga yako inaonekana. Why? The heart is a chamber. Ni kama waga ina boil, inangojaga tu mdomo yako ifungue. Ni trigger tu ndio iko. Ni trigger tu. So on matters of faith, this is not, before we believe God for great things, I'm believing God for land, I'm believing God for a house, I'm believing God. Before you start those things, let's go back to this Galatians 5:22. Can you fix your, first of all, love for God, love for others through the perspective and the lenses through which God has created, so that you get a balance. Long suffering, hii kitu hii, tuelewane wapendwa. Ndoa si kitu ya kukimbilia. Please, hiki si kitu ya kukimbilia. Not unless you have perfected the art of polygamy. By dating this one, dropping, dating this one, dropping. You are still single, but you have perfected the art of polygamy. Umekatia huyu umeachana naye, umekatia huyu umeachana naye. Tukiangalia nyuma kidogo, who is your grandfather? Grand Buddha alikuwa kuku danger. So you don't want to fix the spiritual bit of that dysfunction, you want to extend it. You want to extend it. Long suffering. Unaweza vumilia kweli. Endurance. Ukiambiwa wait. One of the things I had to learn about patience, long suffering ni patience. I learned this virtue a long time ago. I can wait for something even for one person to change, I can even wait for 5 years. I'm very patient. Ngoja tu, hata change tu. Simpeleke haraka. Nikiandika hii, nimeandika? Wewe ukiwa hapo unaona? Ama G. Do you have the patience to wait until both of you can see from one angle? It is the same gospel of Jesus Christ, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but it is called seeing together. Synoptic Gospels. They all saw the same Jesus, but they all gave different accounts, but all aligning to one agenda. Hii kitu inaitwa patience. Jifunze saa hii ama mtoto atakufunza patience. Utangoja tu 9 months. Ama kuna mtu ngojaga 2 months. Awe toka umekawia. Suto mtu yeye amekawia sana. Kuna mtu ngoja it's 9 months. And every time there is a medical challenge or one na huyo mtoto akuje either preterm or something, then you know this is a medical issue. It's a challenge. Do you have the patience to go through a challenge and believe God that it will be fixed? Because life has got twists and turns. Katia tu msichana wanyama ukubalike place fulani munaendaga tu wawili. You know, as long as the two of you are exposed to things that are common to you, one day you will be exposed to things that are uncommon to both of you. And you have to be on the same page to fix it. Ama kwa kina huyu na kwa kina huyu, they are worlds apart. Huyu alete mdem, huyu alete mdem. Mukae, munataka kusolve issues. Huyu mali anaangalilia shida zake na mali unaangalilia. They are worlds apart. So do you have the patience to go through the process of metamorphosis? One person changing until you all are in one. Because I told you the principle is still, the two shall become one. If they are not one in love, in joy, peace, itakuwa hard kuvumilia. And then what will happen is when there is a strain, when there is lack of peace and there is a strain in the patience level, inatokea sasa kwa the opposite of kindness, arrogance. Chali, unashindaga kutembelea kwa kina mdemu. Unatembeanga kwao tu sana. Until siku moja, mama ya msichana anaweza kuambia, ukipanda juu, katisha sukuma hapo chini ukamnayo. Na wewe unaona, nimepata favor na mother. Ujinga. You have actually ruptured the fabric of integrity. Nimeongea mbaya. Kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. It is better to marry than to burn with passion. Self-control. On matters of faith, where you stand on matters of faith, can both of you fast for 30 days? Do you see the silence in the house? That's a reality on the ground. Can you fast for 30 days? Maji tu. Because you are believing God for a greater cause. Can you fast for 30 days, both of you? Useme, in every year, we are going to be doing 30-day fast. Can you? Even one day ni shida. Wezi fast unless ile umehema, hauna ine. Hiyo ni starvation. I'm damn serious on this. On matters of faith, you get the seriousness of your friend, your nini. Fungeni tu, we're fast, now you are fast. Fast too. And like I said, sample size. Hang out. Hey, what's to fast for the next 10 days? Nini? Hakuna agenda. We are not fasting to believe God for cars or nini. We are not fasting for anything. We are just fasting to know God. And there was silence. That tells you that this thing called long suffering will still be an issue when that reality hits home. If you can control your appetite for food, you can control anything else. 100% proven. You don't believe that? Okay. From 20th this month to the 1st of July, we shall be fasting. Will you join? Who is joining? Real fast. Real fast. Real fast. Let's talk after that. Okay? Let's talk after. I'll do 40 days. If you do 20 days, I'll do 40. Okay? Then let's talk after that. Let's talk after that. Let me see what you'll tell me. Trust you me, your language, 100%. Your resilience. 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 Wasichana. Isifike mahali, yani your appetite for chipo can override your desire for destiny in a kick like this. Mwanaume, your appetite to purchase fries for someone, simply because, now in 2-3 minutes, it took hours to prepare those fries. But msichana wenyewe, piga flash in less than 10 minutes. But then, is it true that sometimes we men are responsible for sponsoring a habit that becomes a monster that we complain about later? Because we never put the default settings from day one. Useme, kwa hii relationship, every Monday, maji tu, we are fasting and praying that the purposes of God will be revealed. Matters of faith, when it comes to marriage, you cannot eliminate it. You try it. Tutakutana. You will use philosophies of men. You start looking for therapy classes. Juu ya pressure. Mtu mimi simuelewi. Umuelewi? Fast. Ingia uombe. Now, this is unpopular, right? 100% marital issues can be fixed. I'm trying to tell you how. Matters of faith. And sometimes the borderline between faith and foolishness is very narrow. Because sometimes we men also want to run into the things of God, to run away, hide in the opium of spirituality, because we want to abdicate our responsibility to fix that. I'm trusting God. Trusting God, tutafungiwa nyumba. That's why I said, let's fix the issue of producer and consumer first. Then let's come to matters of faith. Where do you stand on faith? Imani yako iko wapi? When the foundation of the righteous is shaken, what can the righteous do? You should be having immediately real-time results like these, solutions. Because you've been spending time with your maker, who said, I know the plans that I have for you. And you are familiar with those plans. So you cannot allow anything to interrupt the sequence of that plan because of your temporary appetite for things that are perishing. If you are lucky for me to mentor you, hii class, huwezi hepa. Hii Galatians 5:22, hii huwezi hepa hii. Love, joy, hii huwezi hepa. Especially your joy. If I can fix your life to generate joy, I have given you strength for a lifetime. Because joy is a strength. If I can fix your life to just have peace. When things are not working, if I can just put your place in a place where you can have peace. Tumesha fix vitu mob sana. Vitu mingi sana. Hii kitu tu. In my class, hii huwezi hata hii. Long suffering. Hii huwezi hepa hii. When you're going through pain, I cannot take you out of pain. No. Because as soon as I take you out of pain, what will you do? What will you do when you are a father to someone, a husband to someone, and a painful situation happen? What will you do? Where will you develop the enduring power? Utatoa wapi enduring power? Hii huwezi hepa hii. Long suffering, huwezi hepa. Kindness, hiyo huwezi hepa. I'll prune your attitude mpaka ingiane. Ukiongea, let your words be seasoned. You are not talking with a suggestion or an attitude to inflict pain. Kind words. Goodness. Faithfulness. Gentleness. Self-control. Kuna wenye wanasemaga ukiwa faithful with small, you can be entrusted with more. Si ni sawa? Haimaanisha tukikuwa na mdem small, ukiwa faithful na yeye utapewa mwingine mkubwa. On the matters of faith, understand that rationale is much superior than emotion. Being rational is superior than being emotional. Number 4, what was your last relationship like before you start developing the pressure of wanting to get married now? Is it okay? Can we talk? Nikikupatia me, those of you who know me, I know I can leave you with my phone. Nasta kupigia simu, utashinda nayo. Because haina password, haina chochote. Haina pattern. Okay? Ile siku bado unajipata simu yako unaweka pin, pattern, fingerprint, face ID. Can I tell you for free? Ile siku unajipata hapo, free advice, you're not ready for marriage. Wachana nayo. Wachana nayo. I can leave you with my phone. Trust you me, I can leave you with my phone. Kwetu, hakuna simu zetu zote hazina password. Teaching you a principle here. Unadhani hiyo faithfulness inakujia wapi? Unadhani inakujia wapi? Jifundishe hiyo kitu saa hii. Jifunze tu saa hii. Simu yako tu usiweke pattern. Jifunze tu saa hii. Jifunze saa hii. So that when you get married, it is a lifestyle. It is what? A lifestyle. But kama bado hey, you're not ready for marriage. Kama kuna kitu moja nilikuwa nataka kuguzia about your last relationship. What are your because the quality of your life vis-a-vis the secrets that you hide. Can I trust you to pack my parachute? Now that's wisdom for life. If you're choosing friends, you're choosing a partner, can I trust you to pack my parachute? If I can't, you have no business. Wachana nayo. Nakwambia tu kweli, wachana na msichana wa wenyewe. If I can't trust you to pack my parachute. So mimi nikikwambia zile manoma nimekuwa nazo in the past, ukuje utumie the same kunipiga daga. Do you know the reason why God had instructed that the Philistines should be wiped out? Because they always went for the most vulnerable. They went for the women and the children. Sasa, with all the information that you know about someone, is it a weapon or it is an opportunity to be sober? Because all of us are not saints. Ama? All of us are not saints. If we were to do sample size test, sai. Kuna wale hawezi toboa. Lazima tupake damu ya Yesu. And when the angel of death was passing, as soon as he saw blood, there was a Passover. And that's okay. That's okay. Not to put you in a guilt trip or condemnation. But the whole point is, this is the point I'm driving home. Can I trust you to pack my parachute? If I can't, wachana nayo. Mtu wa Mungu, toka tu hapo, honorably and respectably. Toka tu hapo. Sema, I can't trust you to pack my parachute. And it goes a long way. If you don't fix it now, these things will be tested, by the way. At every given cadence of life, it will be tested. It will. Trust me, it will be challenged. You cannot say you are faithful now until a temptation on a higher scale comes. So fix it. Hiyo ndio inaitagwa constant. The wisdom of life, the drawing of a constant. The reason why Jesus, do you know why we call this, the reason, there's this word called integrity. Integrity is what they would call sameness. In the light, in the dark, it is the same. If you go to the government of Kenya, there's a huge difference between integrity and transparency. If we were to look for the NYS files and go through it, trust you me, all the books are reconciled. There is nothing missing. But the truth is, money got lost. Is it an issue of transparency or an integrity? So an integrity issue is a heart issue. Sometimes, a transparency issue could be a mind game. Things that you can balance off very easily. And if you can't fix that, nimwambia tu kweli, toa tu password kwa simu. Naweza kukupatia ATM yangu na pin. Shika. Sasa ni uwizi ndani yako ndio itaamua ama Are you getting the point? Are you getting the point? So that now you determine, do I want to marry you knowing this? Hii pressure naingia ati utaoa lini ndio. Do I really want to marry you with all the nikikupatia ATM? When I look at the statement, kwani I thought the instructions were clear. You're just going to pick X amount of money to sort this. Hii ingine ulichukua ni ya. Now that's a heart issue. Mismanaged appetite. It's a heart issue now. It's no longer at integrity. It's a heart issue, not a transparency issue. Transparency ni nilitoa. Ama integrity ni hukufaa kutoa. Wewe na mwizi hamkufaa. Unaanza sasa kujifundisha ugondi, but in low scale. Before long, you'll be a robber with violence. Number 5. Do you know your HIV status? Do you know your HIV status? Before uende premarital counseling, before ukuje kusema ati mimi nafaa kuwa nimeoa by now. Mtu wa Mungu. Let's fix the basics first. Okay? Do you have a terminal illness? And this is nothing to do with the individual. We are saying this with a lot of love. Can this person be told early in advance? Mtu wa Mungu, mimi nakuaga na kifafa. Mimi nakufanga nikiamka. Mwambie mapema. Mimi naogopa niache. Kama ni kuachwa bado utaachwa. Sema tu kuaga na kifafa. Kuna matime na kuaga na pressure. Kuna time niko na hii. Sema. Si laana. Afadhali useme ijulikane kama anakuacha na akwe na amani nilimwacha kwa sababu ya hii. Ama you know, it sounds very comical, but trust you me. Uko mbele. Hiyo siku ndio utapika dina, mtu wa Mungu. Umepika dina, umeandaa kabisa, umeweka mpaka candles from the door na nini. Hukujua msichana kuanga na heart condition. Akuja kwambia, hizo umejiandaa kwambia, wewe uvae nguo utaumia na baridi. Kumbe what is speaking from heart. Haya. Cheka tu sahi. Umejiandaa mzuri, mtu wa Mungu. Umenunua costumes, tunaenda kuswim Mombasa. Hajawahi kuambia. Maji mingi ni ya basin. Hajawahi kuambia. Umebook mpaka hotel, mtu wa Mungu umebook mpaka kila kitu. Sasa umevaa the real swimming costume. You want to, unataka kuachilia utukufu, mtu wa Mungu. Mpenda na kuangalia. Vaa nguo. Utaumia na joto. Shindwa kwa nini? Yeye anaficha ile tattoo ako nayo mahali. Imeandikwa I love Fred. Mtu wa Mungu wewe ni Paulo. Na hiyo siku unaijulia honeymoon. I'm assuming hujaiona, unaijulia wapi? Sasa tutaanza kutoa demons za Fred aje. No, wewe imagine ile kikao mtakuwa nayo. Wewe imagine ile mkutano mtakuwa nayo hapo. Peace is my, na umeiweka sehemu fulani ambayo mtu wa Mungu hatuwezi itaja kwa nyumba ya Bwana. It's only you who knows where that tattoo is when you are holding things in your own hands. So you think about it critically, and that is now the genesis of chaos. Mtakuwa na, you will hold a very serious conference hapo. Mtakuwa na mkutano refu sana na ilifaa kwa honeymoon. Si uambie tu mpendwa mapema. Ukiona hizi masports hizi kuna dawa mimi umeza. Na zina reacting saa nyingine. Nini? Unajua kitambo kabla nilikuwa nimepungukiwa na maandiko. You know, lazima utafute njia ya kunavigate. Usiseme. Kuna time nilikuwa nimepungukiwa na maandiko. And nikaingisha ATM mahali sikufa. Nikatoka na pin namba mbaya. Sasa wacha huo mtu akupende jinsi Na uimbage tu just as I am without one plea. Mtu wa Mungu. Do you know your HIV status? Hiyo vitu very critical. Ama utaificha, uifiche premarital counseling ishe. Ile sasa tunaambiwa before nini endeni pale alafu sasa ambia babe, there's something I need to tell you. There's something I need to tell you. How will you handle that situation? I was planning for our wedding. We were planning. And in the course of our planning, my wife was working in a certain hospital in Ngong Road. Na kukaja na mtu, she works in the lab, and in the course of her testing, some of you might have heard me say this, she pricked herself with the needle. Was it a needle or one of those things in your nekanga specimen, kamkata? And one of the sample that she was handling was HIV positive. This is October. The wedding is in December. Kama kaniambia nimewekwa on ARVs. ARVs. Kuna kitu msee hujaniambia. Ambia hapana. Nimejidunga. Ambia okay. So the first question she asked, utaniacha? And because I'm born of the water, spirit, and the blood, the same question, I had to invert it very quickly. What if it happened while we are married? Kambia, ARVs ni how long? Kambia, it's only for a month. Kambia, let's believe God for healing. Let's believe God. Why preach healing that you can't believe God for? Hiyo mwezi mtu wa Mungu. Funga na kuo. These are things we don't normally share. I'm being vulnerable with you. Ndio muone zile vitu zinaweza fanyika. You can be, God forbid, in a situation whereby you're sitting next to someone who is profusely bleeding and you have a wound, and that person could be positive. Utafanya nini? Because we have always stigmatized the HIV guys to have easy monkeypox. Monkeypox tunajua ni wase wa lupango. But ingine tunajua we always assume that msalilala na nani akapewa hii kitu. But that sometimes there are those who... Are you getting my point? If you don't fix these realities, marriage will sober you up. Taka hapo hivyo mtoto wenyewe amekama anakilia ambia. So will you break the covenant at that time? Because at that time you're not dealing with the personality. You're dealing with a covenant. Let me bring you to your consciousness. You're not dealing with the individual. You're dealing with a covenant. Will you now break the covenant? Are you trying to sell me at that time that you want to review your salvation status? Think about it. Let's finish up with this one. Before you get into the pressure, Utaoa Lini. Can you tell us your criminal record? Ushawahi shikwa na polisi? Ushawahi pelekwa kotini? What was the situation? Has your fingerprints ever been registered with the DCI? Hizi vitu hatuongeagi, si ndio? Umekutana na mpendo wa church. Ameokoka 2 years, lakini 2 years before. And by there you are welcome. To God be the glory, we give God the glory. I mean, we will celebrate you and we'll apply the scripture. When I came to you, I purpose not to know anything except Christ and Him crucified. That's what Paul tells us. But the whole truth is this. Ile siku tunataka kufly out, tukienda kurun passports, what will come on that screen? Because they are all digital. Have your fingerprints ever been flagged? Tuulizane hizi maswali wapendwa. Uliza hizo wewe ushaishi kwa polisi, ulikuwa mfanya nini? Uliza tu, si makosa. Because mtu akishapenda hizi maswali for who? Lakini wacha ngori itokee. Ndio pasi I'm telling you the truth, I never knew this. I never knew this. Simply because you never, hata gava inafanyaga due diligence. Due diligence. Who are your friends? Just look, who are your friends? Just show me your friends. Who can bear testimony about you? I've got so many friends. I'll tell you that for free. I've got so many friends. But at least I've got one or two. Ukimshikia gani hivi atakwambia, najua mali yuko. Trust you me, I don't travel anywhere without telling those guys there. They'll tell you, some of the guys, they'll tell you, I don't go anywhere except yesterday when they but at least I traveled with another one. So I normally at least 2, 3, 4 people know where I am at any given time. They know what I'm doing at any given time. Because hii kitu ya accountability ndio itakusort pressure. Mi sijui vile ili happen. You are just unaccountable. When you're going for a date, hata kani a casual date, is there someone who knows where you are? Charge ya simu ikiisha and you are needed urgently, ni nani tunaweza pigia na tuambie yuko pale? Kama una watu kama hao, mimi sitakagi watu wajue mambo yangu. Takagi sawa, tunaweza kosa kujua mambo yako, lakini one day it will necessitate that we will want to know. You will want other people to know. So ukufe tu sahi uone. Kufa tu sahi uone the kind of trouble you will bring to friends. Ama acha niwapatie test. Weka simu silent for 2-3 days. Usipigie mtu, weka simu silent. Look at the call log of the kind of people who will be calling you. And then of all the 10 people who will call you, place them somewhere. Either on what you'd call quality calls or quantity calls. In marketing, they do that a lot. You can do 100 calls that may not translate into business, but you can do 10 quality calls that translates into business. Choose. Angalia tu, then out of the 10, jiulize kweli kabisa, saizi ningekuwa nimedai. Kuna ule atakupigia 4-5 days later. Uko poa pasi? So that you eliminate what we'd call transactional relationships and associations. Transactional, need-based, need-driven. Ukiona simu tu ya nani unajua kuna kitu anataka. Unajua kuna kitu anataka. Apige story ingine, but you know, eventually kuna kitu alikuwa anataka. I saw a meme the other day of this dem anatumia Charlie nini. So Charlie anamwambia tu unataka how much? Yaani alisummarize hiyo story asiendelee kuongea akamwambia unataka how much? Ama ilikuwa nakutumia, I think ilikuwa nakutumia. Can you be accountable? Who knows where you are? Who knows where you are? Even right now, if I can ask, who knows that you are here? Look at your surprise. Have you ever been arrested? Do you have a criminal record? In other words, I'm trying to push the opposite. How accountable are you? Because if someone comes and tells me, nimepata dem, to God be the glory, umepata kamtu, finally, hiyo ni sawa. Then, who are the people behind who are echoing what they are seeing? Or these same friends can escort you to a den of lions. Because pressure ni Utaoa Lini. Are there people who, when 10 people are heading this way, one is heading this way and telling you, apana, we can be different. So lazima uende na mbogi. Do you have 1 or 2 people who can actually level your head up? Mkikuwa na shida kwa relationship, manzi yako anaweza pigia nani? Ama chali yako anaweza pigia nani? And I'm not talking about your peers. I'm talking about someone at least. May the Lord give us wisdom. Because wisdom is the principal thing. In all you're getting, get understanding. Si tuendelee next time. Mimi niliwa promise ndawaombea. Na kile nawaombea leo, may God prosper you. May God prosper you. Kwa jina la Baba, la Mwana, na Roho Mtakatifu. Amen. Barikiwe.